It is a funny sort of upside down world that we live in. Like many, I've just been to my emails and I very recently changed my password with the water board, you know, that I get my water bills from, and transferred at the same time over to a new system thing, a different login portal. All sounds very cosmic, doesn't it? But it feels like, and they say, well, it really helps us out if you give us a review on Yelp or whatever it was. That's what it was in my day, or yell.com, as in Yellow Pages. But it's all very performative, as we're called to say now. It's all, no, just give me my water and make sure that you're not wasting the money that we're paying you, blah 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 blah. Simple, we want simple things. And you can probably tell by my tone that a little bit of a ratty mood today, because I went to bed normal time and woke up bang on the dot of 4:45 this morning for some bizarre reason. I don't know what that time means. Normally you sort of wake up about 2 or 3, but no, today was 4:45, and I sort of wanted to get back into bed and fall asleep again, but it wasn't going to happen. You can just feel it, can't you, in your body? You feel a bit disgruntled, a bit disoriented, and I think that's sort of the current mood, that there are a lot of things that don't really seem to make sense, that it's well-established, old, normal ways of doing things. It all seems to have been kind of chucked out of the window. And for quite a long time, actually, I must admit that I've had this profound sense of, starting all over again. And I think if you're doing anything meaningful, I think that's going to be expected, that we're not all going to know exactly where we are, doing different kinds of work and different hours, making our own structure, because that's how people can get trapped in certain patterns, is because somebody else has sort of figured out all of the essentials, and your job, as whether it's as an employee or in a relationship, or exercise routine, that there's a lot of prescribed knowledge, prescribed wisdom, and I think we all have a certain sense of decision fatigue, and it can feel very, very overwhelming when you're trying to figure it all out for yourself. And I will be honest, actually, I think I mentioned on a fairly recent video that I had a couple of conversations with a chap who was pitching me his services to help me find more coaching clients, and it ended up being quite an intense bag of interactions and things said, and I'll be honest, frankly, some manipulation tactics that kind of wiped me out for a few days. But I ended up having a very, very powerful conversation with my therapist on Friday, where we both, and he's always very happy for me when I make really good progress. That's why I love working with him, and he's very wise and down to earth as well. Fabulous. That it was an enormous win for me to actually take control of the situation and acknowledge the fact that, that I said no, and repeatedly said no, and held with my resolve that I'm going to live my life my way, in the way that works for me. And I'm not one of these people who actually believes there's only one way of doing things. I don't. There are plenty of ways of living your life how you want to. you know, that's perfectly justified. But it can sometimes feel like there are a lot of different things that need sorting out. But I definitely feel that there are things that need to be done at certain times, and there is a pace and a rhythm, and the important things get done, and then there are other things that are less important that you get to, and there's a right time to do them. And I think having trust in that does actually help. It takes some of the pressure off. And I keep coming back to this point that while things can feel really, really dramatic and serious, not really, you know, that a lot of all of the catastrophization happens in our heads. I'm sorry that if you can hear the woman yelling at the sheep to come. So, bit of ordered chaos, if you can have ordered chaos. But as I was recording my other video, I was walking up the main street that runs to the other part of the village. Because the village that I live in, there are historically a few different settlements that over time have all conjoined. And there was a chap who I met recently, and his wife, the lady who's in charge of the neighbourhood watch in the village. And he said hello to me, and the thing is, I said hello back, and I could have sort of stopped the video, but I kept on recording because I'm going to keep doing the stuff, you know, that I need to do and that I want to do, get the work done, and leave the day on a high. That's always the aim, that even though it can feel fantastically messy, that as long as you actually get the important things done, that's what counts. That's actually what counts. And I think one way of dealing with the fact that the world can feel upside down sometimes, you can feel in a daze, it's because you are challenging yourself and pushing yourself out there, and we can never predict exactly how each day is going to go. But we keep pressing on, being as peaceful as possible, and realizing that the possibility and the hope and the potential are always there. They're always there, you know, for you to actually achieve what it is that you want to achieve. And when it's feeling completely hopeless, that's actually normally when you make the big breakthroughs. So keep on going, because that's how you keep on growing.